we are collaborating with another anchor institution, Iona College, to think together about ways to address the college's housing needs in concert with neighborhood goals. Never before have community and college representatives worked side by side for such a purpose. They've already reached initial conclusions that demonstrate common interest, and we all hope that their efforts will continue to bear fruit. Our goals and choices don't end downtown or on North Avenue. They extend also to the waterfront. And on this priority, too, we've made real progress in the past year. Through hard work, obtaining a far better understanding of the possibilities and the constraints that surround our shoreline. At Echo Bay, we asked Forest City to update their plans to reflect changed economic conditions and our greater experience with the site, even as we conducted our own independent analysis of public costs and benefits. As a result, we can say now with confidence that there is a viable deal to be struck that benefits taxpayers, creates public access to the shore, directs millions in private investment to environmental restoration, and creates a sizable 11-acre core around which an even broader transformation of the shoreline could take shape. To those concerned that this reimagined project is smaller than the version announced a few years ago, allow me to offer some context for reminder. If accomplished, this would be New Rochelle's largest public-private development in nearly 20 years, the biggest new park in almost 40 years, and the first expansion of public access to our shore since Jimmy Carter sat in the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a big deal. And moving forward on this first phase would enhance our capacity to do even more on Echo Bay in the days to come. Later this month, the Council will decide how best to act on this new information and advance the generational goal of a waterfront that is green, vibrant, and open to one and all. And for that other tantalizing waterfront property, David's Island, we received in the past year a great gift from a volunteer task force. The best, most thoughtful, and most practical study of reuse options that has ever existed. It cuts through decades of stalemated and fruitless argument to make clear what can and can't work. It encompasses and unites environmental, economic, and social objectives. And it enables New Rochelle to now pursue a homegrown vision with regional support. The study gave its highest marks to a world-class research and conference center, served by waterborne transportation, shaped by sustainable design principles, generating its own energy, nestled within parkland and open space, and contributing to the image and vitality of the city of which it is a part. This spring, I will ask the Council to take up the conclusions of the David's Island Task Force and set a course that, step by step, phase by phase, can make our vision real. For more than half a century, New Rochellians have dreamed of, fought over, and ultimately faltered in service of this goal. Let our generation be the one that finally achieves it. Even when it comes to government itself and to the basic nuts and bolts of our public sector and public facilities, we are making strides. Last year, in this address, I talked about the sorry state of our capital investments and infrastructure. This year, the Council is moving beyond talk and taking action by authorizing and funding the design of a new public works yard on Beechwood Avenue. It's the right thing to do on every level. Right because it will cost millions less than modernizing the yard we have today. Right because it will make DPW more efficient and effective. And right because it will free up the waterfront for better uses that benefit every person in New Rochelle. Cheaper, better, smarter. This debate has jammed us up for more than a decade, and I am grateful to the Council for its bipartisan determination to move forward. Last year, I talked about improving our internal capacity to plan and design so that we can compete more successfully for grants and put New Rochelle's needs front and center, when it comes to setting regional and state priorities. This year, thanks to the Council's action, our staff is armed with better information and GIS systems, the tools to make the strongest possible case, tell the best story, and submit the most competitive applications for New Rochelle. We deserve no less. Last year, I talked about the value of recreation and play to countless families whose lives are enriched by the joy of sport or the quiet contemplation of nature. This year, we'll finish building the new fields at City Park, New Rochelle's most significant recreational upgrade in more than a generation, and a place that will be enjoyed by thousands of men, women, and especially children. Last year, New Rochelle approved its first ever and now award-winning sustainability plan, Greener, a 20-year roadmap for conserving natural resources, improving our quality of life, and saving money. This year, we're putting principle into motion by implementing Greener's short-term recommendations, including the biggest public sector energy efficiency improvements since Albert Leonard High School was converted into New Rochelle City Hall back in 1962. Finally, please don't think for a moment that our goal is simply to erase the old and build the new. It's also about holding on to the positive qualities we already possess, and making sure that the residents and business owners here today benefit fully from change. Every individual initiative should fit into a larger vision for what our community is and can be. In this spirit, just a few weeks ago, we launched an effort to write a new comprehensive plan. During the next 18 months, the Comp Plan Committee will consider what in New Rochelle should be preserved, what should be enhanced, and what should be set in a new direction. Their labors will produce a sound foundation for many years of public and private investment, and for a city that is even more healthy and vibrant. And on this critical priority, like so many others, we are turning to citizen volunteers to lead the way, finding among them contributors of remarkable skill and ability. Each achievement strengthens our hand. Every time we forge a successful partnership, or bring in a new entrepreneur, or demonstrate the viability of our market, or make a strategic investment in our quality of life, we build capacity for the next opportunity, and the next after that, and the next after that. Momentum begets momentum. And so even if you disagree with one or another of the objectives I've listed, please see that together they establish a virtuous cycle that unlocks new possibilities. We are saying to the world, in a clear, confident voice, New Rochelle is ready to compete for the future, and we are determined to win. You can probably tell that I am hopeful and excited about our city's prospects, most of which have brightened considerably since we met 1 year ago. The pitfalls are still real. Many outcomes are still uncertain. But more than at any time since Lehman Brothers collapsed and the housing market went south, we are now the masters of our own fate. I offer just one caution. The history of New Rochelle tells us how quickly windows of opportunity can close, and how difficult it is to recapture that moment when a choice came and went. All of us would like to believe that by waiting just a little bit longer, or trying just a little bit harder, we can have everything desired without giving anything in return. And yes, we should have high standards. To hell with anyone who would sell this city short. But I have yet to witness a deal that checks off every box, or that attains some idealized vision in a single giant leap. I've yet to encounter the project that gives us tax revenue and job creation and cultural energy without traffic congestion or parking demands, financial incentives, or design imperfections, or the innumerable trade-offs that define business and development in the real world. Far more often, the road to success is paved with small and uneven stones, each with sacrifices, each requiring dogged persistence and a tolerance for controversy, each requiring the acceptance of some things we don't like in order to get more of the things we do. Realism is what separates good decision-making from wishful thinking. Compromise is the currency of achievement. And to mix metaphors, the team that connects on a string of singles and doubles is far more likely to score than the team that swings for the fences on every pitch. Our window of opportunity is here, now. So let us not make the perfect the enemy of the good. Let us not choose and chase illusions that only lead back to the status quo. Let us resolve never to recall this moment with regret at the choices not made. Let us seize the chance before us with all the urgency and courage that the people of New Rochelle expect and deserve. These can be hard tasks, but thankfully they are more than worth the effort. Think about the stakes. Think about what our city is and what it represents. At a time when so many bemoan the division of our nation by income or race or religious belief, here is a community where people of every circumstance and heritage are neighbors and friends. At a time when the creative impulse is finally recognized as an essential part of a full and complete life, here is a culture that celebrates artistic expression and is not afraid to shake up tradition. At a time when many wonder how the next generation of Americans will compete in the global marketplace, here is a school system that offers educational opportunities dazzling in their range and scope. And at a time when the answers to tough questions can seem elusive, here are citizens ready and able to roll up their sleeves and